passing year, each passing app, we find ourselves more and more immersed in a culture of disclosure. People are sharing everything. Details about their relationships, their mental health struggles, their traumas, their innermost thoughts, even things they know might make others uncomfortable. And while it's easy to write this off as attention-seeking or narcissistic behavior, the truth is a little more nuanced. The tendency to overshare is rooted deep in human psychology, in our need for connection, our personality structures, and the emotional rewards we receive, however fleeting those might be. Basically, oversharing is a form of emotional release. Think of the mind as a pressurized system. Life throws things at us. Grief, confusion, fear, rejection, and sometimes the pressure builds to a point where we can't contain it. For many people, talking is a form of relief. Sharing their story, even to a stranger or a faceless audience online, becomes a valve they turn to let off some steam. The compulsion to speak isn't always logical. It's emotional. It's not about whether the listener is trustworthy or whether the outcome will be favorable. It's just about momentary relief, that sense of being seen or heard, if only for a second. We're wired for connection. From infancy, we're rewarded for vocalizing our discomfort. A baby cries and they're fed. A toddler falls and they're comforted. We learned that saying how we feel or showing how we feel brings others closer. As we grow, the language becomes more complex, but the impulse remains the same. Say what's inside, and someone will care. That early conditioning never fully goes away. It sits quietly in the background, urging us to believe that vulnerability will be met with understanding. And sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't. Personality plays a big role in how, when, and why people choose to overshare. Those who are more extroverted tend to process their emotions externally. They think out loud, they talk things through, and they feel most themselves when they're connecting with others. For them, sharing too much can be an accident of self-discovery. They don't realize they've crossed a line until it's far behind them. Then there are people with high levels of neuroticism, those who are prone to anxiety and self-doubt. Oversharing for them can be a way to seek reassurance or clarity. If they put everything on the table, maybe someone will help them sort through it. Maybe they'll feel a little less lost. We also can't ignore the role of trauma. People who have been hurt often have a skewed sense of boundaries. They may have grown up in environments where nothing was private or where silence was dangerous. Oversharing becomes a learned behavior, a method of self-preservation. If I tell you everything, the thinking goes, maybe I can control the narrative this is where the darker side comes in. The word oversharing exists for a reason. It carries a negative connotation, not because vulnerability is bad, but because the results of excessive or ill-timed vulnerability are usually damaging. Oversharing can erode trust. It can make others deeply uncomfortable. It can backfire professionally and socially. It can create false intimacy, the illusion of closeness that hasn't actually been earned. We all know that awkward feeling when someone tells us too much too soon. The conversation shifts, the mood changes, and suddenly there's this invisible weight hanging in the air. That's the cost. Oversharing demands an emotional investment from the listener, and not everyone is willing or able to give it. But people keep doing it. They overshare in text messages. They overshare in awkward conversations. They overshare in blog posts and comment sections. Why? Because the short-term reward often outweighs the long-term risk, at least in the moment. When someone bares their soul, they might receive sympathy, praise for being real, or even just a few seconds of attention in a world that constantly tells us we're invisible unless we shout. That hit of dopamine is real. The validation, however small, is real. It reinforces the behavior. It tells the brain, hey, this worked. Do it again. There's also a kind of cultural momentum pushing people toward disclosure. Social media platforms encourage openness with their very structure. You're given a blank space and a blinking cursor. What will you share today? And when you see thousands of others revealing personal stories and receiving likes, support, and just viral success, it sends a message. Oversharing isn't just accepted, it's rewarded. In that environment, privacy starts to look like secrecy, and secrecy starts to look like shame. But the truth is, not all stories are meant for every ear. Not all pain needs to be shared with strangers. There's wisdom in discretion, in knowing when and how to reveal yourself. That's not about hiding who you are. It's about protecting what's important. Oversharing often feels like control, but it can lead to the very vulnerability people fear most: rejection, misunderstanding, and judgment. But we return to it again and again because humans are messy and desperate and beautiful in their need to connect. Because sometimes we don't know how to ask for help without bleeding all over the floor. Because in a world where everything feels performative, being radically honest feels like a rebellion, like truth. So the next time you see someone oversharing, resist the urge to scoff. Recognize what's beneath it: a need, a hurt, a hope that someone, somewhere, might listen and not turn away. And if you're doing the one doing the oversharing, connection, comfort, clarity, and is there a better, safer way to find it? Because there's nothing wrong with telling your story, but it matters who you tell it to, and it matters whether that story is helping you heal or just adding another layer to the wound.